This is The Scoop for Tuesday.
I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines. Most Florida voters consider property insurance reductions a higher priority than property tax reductions, according to the Florida Policy Institute. WMNF's Chris Young reports the poll comes as legislators consider cutting or eliminating property taxes.
Researchers surveyed 625 Florida voters. They found that almost two-thirds of Florida voters believe that property insurance relief should be a higher priority for the state legislature than property tax relief. Only 32% of voters said that property tax relief was the higher priority of the two options. Director of Research at Florida Policy Institute, Esteban Santis, says the results weren't surprising.
When we look at the consistent costs that impact, the majority of homeowners, property insurance is going to be one of the significant costs, whereas property taxes, they could be lowered because we have things like Save Our Homes or different homestead exemptions.
Governor Ron DeSantis is now pushing for the elimination of property taxes, calling them a, quote, perpetual rent to the government. Chris Young, WMNF News.
Last Saturday, demonstrators marched through St. Petersburg, Florida, protesting U.S. involvement with Venezuela and the recent capture of President Nicolas Maduro. WMNF's Leah Burdick reports why demonstrators are frustrated with these actions and want the U.S. to release Maduro.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Over 40 demonstrators gathered near Mirror Lake to protest U.S. involvement in Venezuela, calling it a violation of international law. Carla Correa is the co-chair of the Pinellas Democratic Socialists of America.
The U.S. is always trying to be like the world police and take control of other countries' resources. In Venezuela's case, that's their oil, because Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world.
Correa says Maduro should be released and returned to Venezuela, and the U.S. should stay out of Latin American countries.
So we're here to say no war with Venezuela, free Maduro. We don't want to see our tax dollars being used to militarize the Caribbean and to kill people in Venezuela, kill people in the Caribbean. We want to see our tax dollars being used to actually fund the things that we need, like healthcare, education, and housing.
Correa and other speakers say U.S. actions are about controlling resources and do not benefit Venezuelans. After listening to multiple speakers, demonstrators began marching downtown while chanting "Hands off Venezuela." For WMNF News, I'm Leah Burdick in St. Petersburg.
Latin America isn't yours! No more crews, no more wars!
In an 84-page brief filed late Friday, the Smart and Safe Florida Political Committee argued that the proposed ballot initiative in support of recreational marijuana and a constitutional amendment meets the legal requirements to go before voters. The Florida Supreme Court must decide whether the proposed ballot wording is clear. Smart and Safe Florida sponsored a similar ballot proposal in 2024 to legalize recreational marijuana, but it fell short of receiving the required 60% voter approval. The opponents contend in part that the proposal is misleading because of an issue about where smoking and vaping marijuana would be barred, and questioned also whether federal law would override the state constitution. The Supreme Court has scheduled oral arguments for the case February 5th. Governor Ron DeSantis and James Uthmeyer and groups such as the Florida Chamber of Commerce have helped lead efforts to defeat the 2024 proposal and are again fighting this year's measure. Smart and Safe Florida must also submit 880,062 valid petition signatures to the state by February 1st. The committee said it has collected more than 1 million signatures, but the State Division of Elections website yesterday showed 675,307 valid signatures had been tallied. Smart and Safe Florida this month filed a lawsuit alleging state elections officials had improperly directed the invalidation of about 72,000 signatures. Circuit Judge Jonathan Sjostrom on Thursday found that state officials improperly directed the invalidation of about 42,000 petitions signed by inactive voters, but he upheld a separate directive to invalidate nearly 29,000 petitions collected by out-of-state petition gatherers. Sunny skies this afternoon and highs in the upper 60s. Overnight lows tonight will be in the upper 40s. A few clouds tomorrow and then much warmer weather and highs in the mid 70s. I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.